Welcome back to Grain by Grain, Tales of Taste, where we explore the world of flavor and the stories behind salted perfection. I'm your host, David, and in our first episode, we shared the origins of salted perfection. But today, we're looking toward the future. Well, we're working on getting some exciting guests scheduled. We thought it would be fun to switch things up. I'll be in the hot seat today, answering questions about the growth of the business and where we're headed next. Helping me out is my good buddy Liam. Let's get started.
Thanks, David. It's great to be here. Let's jump right in. Salted Perfection has really taken off since its inception, but I'm curious, what have been some of the biggest challenges or surprises in growing the business?
Hey, thanks, Liam. That's a great question. I'd say one of the biggest surprises has been how much our community has played a role in shaping the business. When we first started, it was just about making great salts, but now it's evolved into something much bigger. People have connected with our products in ways we'd never imagined. A good example, and I wish we could get video of this, but when people try a sample of our select blends for the first time, it's always the same reaction. People are like, at the farmer's market, for example, people will be walking along and they'll make eye contact with us, and we catch them like, hey, do you like steak? And most people like steak. We have very few people say no. A few vegetarians here and there, but then we catch them with the broccoli. We catch the vegetarians with broccoli. But we like to sample steak with abilene on it, for instance. And people come over and they look at the steak and they expect it to be like the steak that they typically have. And abilene has fresh lime in it, and that's a surprise. And it's so much fun to watch people take a bite of steak and their eyes get big and they look at whoever they came with and they're like, you got to try this. This is insane. And so then the person that they're with tries it, and the same thing, the eyes get big and pop out of the sockets. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what on earth is this? I'll take it.
Interesting.
So that's been a riot just to watch that. And it happens with abilene. It happens with Raleigh on chicken. If I sample Santa Maria on chicken, same thing. And Key West on broccoli.
Yeah.
The key lime in Key West on broccoli is such a surprise that, people's eyes just get big and pop out of their sockets. There's no other description. It's really fun to watch.
I can picture it.
So that's been a surprise to me. One of the challenges is we're totally committed to 100% natural ingredients.
Absolutely.
And that really limits how we make these. A lot of co-packers and co-manufacturers will insist on changing your recipe, adding artificial ingredients to make it flow better and not gum up the machinery. So far to date, we have not found somebody that can work with all of our products.
That's definitely a challenge.
So we are 100% committed to making everything ourselves. And as we move forward, we need to scale our production as the business scales. And one of our big goals, aside from being committed to 100% natural products, only natural ingredients, healthy, we really want to create opportunities and create jobs, specifically in the state of Michigan, since that's where we're located. So just kind of taking it one day at a time and seeing where it goes.
Speaking of expanding, you've had some pretty exciting moments this year. I heard you traveled to Fort Worth, Texas in March. Did I hear correctly that it was for a World Championship Steak Cookoff? How was that experience, and did it inspire any new ideas?
Oh, wow. That trip was amazing. The energy at SCA Worlds was incredible, and being surrounded by some of the best pit masters in the world was both humbling and inspiring. It gave me some fresh ideas. I came back and I put together a select blend named Fort Worth, which is really, really good on steak, which was my goal. And I have not had a steak without Fort Worth on it since then. It's really good. You should try it.
Steak.
But anyway, it gave me so many fresh ideas, not just for new grilling rubs and select blends. It was a reminder, first and foremost, of why we do what we do. Create products that elevate great cooking into something extraordinary. Just having a chance to hang out with some of the best pitmasters from all over the world was just so amazing. So thank you to Rally Yard Barbecue and Hawk Blackburn and all the other competitors from, specifically from Germany, who welcomed me, made me feel at home, and to SCA for just being a great organization and putting together these competitions.
It must have been inspiring to be among the best of the best. Speaking of competitions, do you see Salted Perfection becoming more involved in the competitive food space, like sponsoring events or collaborating with chefs?
Absolutely. We have some exciting things coming up. We've got some relationships with celebrity chefs.
No kidding.
That are ongoing and developing. And as far as competitive grillers go, we want to continue supporting our competitors who use our products currently. As far as entering this space ourselves, probably not. That's a whole other business unto itself. We want to support competitors who use our products in any way that we can.
Yeah.
As far as we ourselves entering contests, no, I don't see that happening. We're already competing with our business.
100%.
And that's our primary focus, is developing amazing products that elevate every meal to be the best that it can be. And if we can support people who have passions beyond that, that's our role.
That sounds like a smart move. Let's talk about product development. When you're creating a new blend or product, what does that process look like? How do you decide what flavors to focus on?
So that's a really great question. The process always starts with inspiration, whether it's from a specific cuisine, a meal we've had, or a place we've traveled. Once we have an idea, we start experimenting. We'll test out different combinations of spices, herbs, and salts until we find something that really stands out. It's a lot of trial and error, but once we hit the sweet spot, we know we've got something special. And when we refine it, making sure it's versatile enough for home cooks, but still interesting enough for professionals, that's really when the magic happens.
That sounds like a delicious process. What time's dinner? You mentioned earlier that you're expanding your lifestyle blends line. Could you tell us more about that and how you're balancing flavor with health-conscious trends?
Of course. The lifestyle blends are all about catering to different dietary needs without sacrificing flavor. We've seen a demand for blends that are sugar-free, salt-free, or made with natural sweeteners. So we've been developing products that fit those needs. The challenge has been making sure they're still packed with flavor. Just because something is low in salt or sugar doesn't mean it has to be bland. We want people to feel good about what they're eating without missing out on taste.
That's such an important trend right now. How have your customers responded to the new products, particularly the lifestyle blends?
The response has been amazing. The people who have tried the lifestyle blends have been really excited about these new options, especially those who are looking to cut down on salt or sugar. Not a week goes by that I don't have somebody approach me and say, "Hey, Salted Perfection, do you have anything that doesn't contain salt?" It just points to a need in the marketplace for options for those who are pursuing dietary restrictions, I think it's important to have sugar-free options that have sweetness to them and salt-free options that have the essence of salt.
That's an amazing goal. Shifting gears a bit, where do you see Salted Perfection in the next few years? What are your long-term goals for the business?
We've got some ambitious goals. In the next few years, I see us expanding our presence in more retail stores, both locally and nationally. We also want to keep growing our online community, offering more recipe content, video tutorials, and maybe even a subscription service where people can get new salts or blends delivered to their door. Beyond that, I'd love to explore international markets. We've already had some interest from overseas, and it would be amazing to see Salted Perfection on tables around the world.
That's a bold vision, and I'm sure you'll make it happen. One last question. What keeps you motivated and excited to keep pushing Salted Perfection forward?
To boil it down to a nutshell, it's the community. Hearing from customers who love what we're doing and seeing how our products are being used in creative ways, it's super inspiring. Plus, the challenge of always finding new ways to innovate and bring something fresh to the table keeps things exciting. We've come a long way, but I still feel like we're just getting started. There's just so much to explore.
That's fantastic to hear, David. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. I'm sure our listeners are eager to see what's next for Salted Perfection.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We've got some exciting things in store, so stay tuned for more episodes, hopefully featuring some new guests. In the meantime, keep experimenting in the kitchen and keep an eye out for our latest blends. Thanks again for listening to Grain by Grain Tales of Taste. Until next time, happy seasoning.